Today, we're going to knock out the AFC West draft grades, and we're going to kick it off with the Las Vegas Raiders. First up, they picked Ashton Genty at number 6 overall, the halfback out of Boise State. I'm going to give that an A. I love the pick. I think it was the right decision. I know taking it back early isn't always maybe the best idea, but for what Pete Carroll wants, it makes total sense to me. Round 2, pick 26 after a bunch of trade downs. They picked up Jack Besh, the wide receiver at TCU. Gave that a B. I thought it was good value. I like the pick for him. Round 3, pick 4, they got Darian Porter, the corner out of Iowa State. I gave that a B. He's another big, long, developing corner. Pete Carroll loves these guys. He's going to fit right in, and if he's able to get the most out of them like he has from guys in the past, he's going to be awesome for him, and it'll be a steal here in the 3rd round. Round 3, pick 34, they took Caleb Rogers, the interior offensive lineman out of Texas Tech. I gave that a C+. I had more of a day 3 grade on him, but I mean, it's close to day 3, but it was like bottom of the 4th round is where I had him rated. Round 3, pick 35, they took Charles Grant, the tackle out of William and Mary. I gave that an A. I really like Charles Grant. I know he's a developing player, but he's a really good player, man. And I think they got a steal here. He has a chance to actually stick at tackle and be a really, really good tackle for them. He has all the athleticism you're looking for. Like, I know he played at a small school, so he still has some learning to do, but I think he's a really good player. Round 4, pick 6, they took Dante Thornton, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. I'm okay with that. He's a long, deep threat guy. He doesn't run a ton of routes. He's a little stiff, but he's fast and he can get over the top, and he's going to have a role for you. Round 4, pick 33, they took Tonka Hemingway, the interior defensive lineman out of South Carolina. I thought this was early. I had him, I think, as a 6th to 7th round guy. A little bit early for me, but we'll see if it works out. Hopefully it does. Round 6, pick 4, though, they paid it right back by getting J.J. Pegues, the interior defensive lineman / fullback out of Ole Miss. That's a steal for me. I absolutely love that pick. I think Pegues is awesome, so they got fantastic value there. Round 6, pick 37, they took Tommy Mellott. He played quarterback at Montana State, but they expect him to play receiver in the NFL. No issues with that. It's worth taking a dart throw on a guy who ran, I think, a 4.39 at his pro day, so he's got plenty of athleticism. We'll see if he's able to translate it. And then at round 6, pick 39, they took the national championship FCS winning quarterback who actually beat Tommy Mellott, and that's Cam Miller, the quarterback at North Dakota State. I'm okay with that. I didn't fully watch his tape. I'm not going to lie to you. Same with Mellott. I knew it was a position change. I didn't get to watch these guys, but I'm not going to knock them for it. I'm going to give it okay value. And then Cody Lindenberg, the linebacker out of Minnesota, I'm okay with that at round 7, pick 6. I had him as a late round 6 guy, so it makes total sense for him to go here. Overall, the Raiders had, I think, a pretty good draft, and I really liked what they did, and I thought their process was pretty solid. I gave them a B+, and if I counted trades, this would be in the A's because they moved back so much, and I honestly might even be a little low giving it a B+. I really like what they did. It probably is more of an A-. That's one of them borderline classes, and if I feel like it's borderline, I always go with the lower one just to be safe because I don't want to give too many people A's and let everything be, all rosy up in here, and I love everybody's class. Let's go ahead and move on. We're going to see the Denver Broncos next. They picked at round 1, pick 20. They took Jahdae Barron, the cornerback out of Texas. He was a top 10 guy for me. I gave that an A. And then after that, I don't think this class was the greatest in my opinion. They just don't match up with where I view guys value-wise. RJ Harvey at round 2, pick 28, D+. Had him as a day 3 guy. Pat Bryant, same idea, day 3 guy at round 3, pick 10. That's a D-. He was even lower on my board. Savion Jones, that was solid value at round 3, pick 37. The edge out of LSU, that's a B. I just didn't love their day 2, honestly. Like I said, RJ Harvey, I wasn't as high on him as a lot of other people. There were people that thought this was a good get, and I just don't view him as a round 2 guy. He's a 24-year-old rookie running back. I don't love it. Pat Bryant, he looks like what the term I always hear is the sacrificial X. He looks like that'll be his role in the NFL. Like, he's not gonna get a ton of targets. Like, he's not the most athletic guy. I don't know. I don't understand the picks there. At least Harvey has some juice, so I can see. Pat Bryant, I don't see the juice in him. Like, I would have been much more comfortable taking him on day 3 and letting him play that role because he can play. Like, he is a good player and he's ready to play now. It's just, I don't think he's going to be that productive because he doesn't have the athleticism to get himself open. So I don't know. We'll have to see on that. But their day 3 picks, they took Q Robinson at round 4, pick 32, the edge out of Alabama. I thought that was early. I had a 6th round grade on him. Round 6, pick 40, they took Jeremy Crawshaw, the punter out of Florida. That's okay. No issues with that at all. Round 7, pick 27, they took Caleb Lawner, the tight end out of Utah. That's okay. He's a guy that actually played on the basketball team. He only had a couple career catches in college, or maybe it was 1 career catch in college. He just came back to football. I think it'd be nice to develop him. He's like 6'7". I think it's a good shot by the Broncos, but I didn't watch any tape on his, so I'm just going to say it's okay value. Overall, the Broncos class just didn't do it for me. It's a smaller class as well. I'm going to drop it to a C, unfortunately. It's going to be one of my lower rated classes. I just don't love it. I got to be honest with you. Like I said, there's something about it that I think could absolutely be better. And, I think they just messed up day 2 for the most part. And it really hurts their grade overall because I love the Baron pick and I thought they were headed in a great direction after that. The next 3 of the next 4 picks just didn't do it for me. So this class is definitely one of the lower rated ones. Hopefully I'm wrong, like I always say, but for now, I'm just not that comfortable with this class. Next up is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. At round 1, pick 22, they took Marion Hampton, the halfback out of North Carolina. No issues with that. That's an A- for me. I really liked Hampton, thought he was a great player. I had him as a top 15 guy in this class, and he had a true first round grade from me, so I think it's a great value. Round 2, pick 23, they took Trey Harris, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss. I'm going to give that a B. That's right in the range I had him. I think it was great value. He's a guy that I think has some developing to do. Ole Miss's offense isn't really conducive for developing skill position players, whether it be receivers or quarterbacks. It's just not, because it's such a weird system that works so well in college, and that's why Lane Kiffin's such a good coach. It just doesn't translate to the NFL, and that's the big issue with it. I do think Trey Harris is going to have to develop because of that. I think his route running looks sloppy on tape because of that, but he has the size, he has the athleticism. I think he has enough athleticism, I should say. He did test a little worse than I thought he would, but I think he's a good player, and this is a perfect range, and he's going to be able to go out there and play that X role for him, so that way they can keep moving McConkey all around that offense. Round 3, pick 22, they took Jamari Caldwell, the interior defensive lineman out of Oregon. Love this pick. I gave that a B. I wanted to bump it up, but it's right in the range I had him. And it's kind of my rule of thumb here is if it's in the range I drafted him, even if I love the fit, I still give it a B. Every now and then I might bump it just a little bit. And with Caldwell, it was tempting, but I decided to go ahead and leave it as a B. I really like the pick, and I can't stress that enough. I think it's a fantastic get for him. I think he'll be able to step in and fill the role that was just vacated by, I can't remember his name. Shorter defensive lineman, though. He just left. Puna Ford, I think, is who I'm thinking of. He'll be able to fill that role, though, as the D nose tackle for him, and I think it's going to work out great. Round 4, pick 24, they took Kyle Kennard, the edge out of South Carolina. That's good value for me. I had him in round 3 towards the back end, so I think it was just good value getting him towards the back end of the 4th round. Round 5, pick 22, they took Keandre Lambert-Smith, the wide receiver out of Auburn. I'm okay with that value. Round 5, pick 29, they took Rondé Gadsden the second, the tight end out of Syracuse. I'm okay with that. He's an interesting player. He's athletic. He's kind of more like a big receiver in college. He's added some weight to try to fill into the actual tight end role in the NFL. So I'm definitely interested to see how that goes. See if he loses some of that athleticism or not, or see if he keeps it all. He's an interesting prospect, though. Round 6, pick 23, they took Branson Taylor, the interior offensive lineman out of Pittsburgh. Did not finish his tape, so I left that at an okay value. Round 6, pick 38, they took RJ Mickens, the safety out of Clemson. I thought that was okay value there. No issues with that at all. Round 7, pick 40, they took Traqueezy Bridges, the corner out of Florida. I'm okay with that as a Gators fan. I thought he was all right. I think end of the draft was probably the right range for him. I kind of thought he might go undrafted, so I'm not going to knock it. It was an okay value. It was 1 pick before the final one, if I remember properly. And I overall really like this Chargers class. I graded this one a little bit more favorably. I guess where I struggled with not the Broncos, the Raiders class, I gave this one an A-. We'll leave it at that. Those were the Chargers and the Raiders were the 2 classes that I kind of debated on where to go. And I ended up giving the Chargers the A- and the Raiders the B+. They were both really good classes. I really like Jamari Caldwell, though. I like the fit with Trey Harris. So I just bumped this one up to A- because I really liked everything they did on day 1 and 2. And I thought the fit for the team was really good. So that's how we got to an A- for the Chargers. I think it was a really good class, and I think they did a good job. And we'll see if Jim Harbaugh is able to keep developing these guys and get everything out of them. But I think they have a good base here with who they picked. And finally, the division winning and Super Bowl losing Kansas City Chiefs. They had a really good draft, I think, in some aspects, and then they had some bad aspects of their draft as well. Round 1, pick 32, Josh Simmons, the tackle out of Ohio State. That's an A. And I love Simmons. If it wasn't for the injury, he would have been my top tackle in this class. I think he's athletic enough. I think he showed everything you're looking for. Now, there were some character questions that were brought up. I can't speak to that. I don't know the guy. I don't know the inner workings of the Ohio State program. I really liked Simmons, though. I thought he was a great player when I watched the film, so I'm going to give that an A. Things got a little wonky here, though, on day 2 for me. I didn't love the value value of the guys they took. Round 2, pick 31, they took Norman Lott, the interior defensive lineman out of Tennessee. I gave that a C. I was more of a day 3 guy. I think he had like a very bottom of the 3rd round grade for me. Norman Lott could be a really good pass rushing defensive tackle, but it says a lot that Tennessee refused to put him on the field to play against the run. And I think that taking such a hyper role player, even if it is basically a pass rusher at round 2, pick 31, just feels rich to me. I can't get there. And I know that he could make me look foolish because he has the pass rushing chops to do so, but I just don't trust a pick, and I have to be true to myself, and that's a C. Round 3, pick 2 was Ashton Gelati, the edge out of Louisville. I gave this a D-. Listen, I had a bottom of the 4th round grade, or middle to bottom of the 4th round grade on Ashton Gelati. He tested better than people expected, and I think that moved him up the board. He was a good pass rusher, but he didn't show any of the bendiness or any of that crazy burst on tape, in my opinion. I think he looked like a power profile, pocket pushing edge rusher who got a lot of production in college. He lacks ideal size and length. Once again, don't know the process here. Don't love it. I don't think it was a great get, but I hope I'm wrong because Gelati, had they taken him on day 3 or even with their final pick in the 3rd round, I wouldn't have been so hard on it because I think he'll be able to play the edge in the NFL. I just don't get there with where they took him. It's just too high. Round 3, pick 21, they took Noel Williams, the corner out of Cal. Gave that a C-. I had him in the same range as Gelati, but he was still slotted lower than him. I know the NFL was higher on him, though. I heard Daniel Jeremiah talking about it. You know, he created a ton of turnover production in college, and I can understand why when you see that, you want it on your team. It's hard for me when I see reps in between that turnover production that I really don't like, and he gets burnt. It's hard for me to be like, hey, the turnovers are worth taking a chance on day 2. That's really all I can say about it. He did a fantastic job of getting the ball back for his offense, which is what you really want on defense. But in between them, man, it wasn't for me. He was one of them guys that, even though I knew he'd probably go earlier than I had him rated, he was just one of them not my guys. And it was kind of like Norman Lott as well. I figured he would go higher than I had him rated. It's just, they're not my guys. There are people that in the class I would have avoided unless they fell to a certain range. Because like I said, Norman Lott, great pass rushing defensive lineman. And I did like him. It's just, there's a strong chance since Tennessee refused to play him against the run that he's just going to be dreadful and unplayable until 3rd down. Round 4, pick 31 though, this is where the Chiefs redeemed themselves some. They took Jalen Royals, the wide receiver out of Utah State, labeled that a steal. Really like the value they got there. Round 5, pick 20, they took Jeffrey Bossa, the linebacker out of Oregon. That's a steal for me. I had a late round 3 grade on him. Really loved the value there. Round 7, pick 12, they got Brashad Smith, the halfback out of SMU. That's a steal. I think he's going to be a really good pass catching back in the NFL. He's a former receiver who transferred to SMU from Miami. Really liked their day 3. They did a great job, but their day 2 was so bad, I'm still leaving this class at a B-. And I do hope I'm wrong when it comes down to how day 2 went for the Chiefs. Like I said, Norman Lott has a high ceiling because of his pass rushing. People are, even if he's a terrible run defender, if he can get 8-9 sacks a year at defensive tackle, people are just going to love him, and this pick will be widely lauded, and that's just because people still love the stat stuffers of D tackle, of sacks and things like that. So I can see how fans could really love this guy, even if I don't or won't love him if he's a terrible run defender. I just feel like there's too much unknown about his run defense, so I'm really hesitant on that. But they got a B-. You really can't complain about that. It's a pretty good draft class. I wasn't as hard on them as I was some of the other classes that their grade could have been better, but they did such a good job on day 3. The B- is totally fair. I want to thank you for watching. If you guys got any comments down below, let me know how you feel about me grading your class. I'd love to hear back from you. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing. We're finishing off draft grades. We're going to start looking through some college rosters after this as well. I want to do some record predictions and just talk through college football a little bit. Everybody does the NFL. I don't feel like enough people go team by team for college football as best they can. And I want to give my hand at that this year and see how it goes. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. We'll have more coming. We'll hit summer scouting here coming up in a few months. I'm not trying to rush into it. Take a little bit of break and we'll get back into summer scouting. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.